Season tickets go on sale for BYU soccer to the general public tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. Cougar Club members, current season ticket holders, you can still buy yours tonight. Call the BYU ticket office at 801-422-2901. It's an amazing home schedule. We've got the head coach on with us live on the Wise Guys, Jen Rockwood. I'd say, Coach, you've really followed a legacy in the soccer program, but you are the only coach in the soccer program ready for your 25th season. Congratulations on all that. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, we're super excited about this upcoming year, and season tickets go on sale, and I think we've already sold a lot, more than we have in the past. So it's exciting that we get such great support from Cougar Nation.
Once in a while, I go over and try to act like a big deal and weasel my way in and sit up with the broadcasters. But I also have gotten tickets and sat up in the stands for a women's soccer game. I don't know of a better, maybe you do, of a better home soccer environment than we have right here at BYU. It is an amazing experience, is it not?
Yeah, we're super fortunate that we've got this great facility and we've got the best fans in the country, for sure. And there's only a few venues across the country that I think pull in the fans like we do, that have that environment where the fans are really into the game. And, I told the players that we make sure that we win. We play fun soccer, attacking soccer, score a lot of goals, and they just might come back and watch us play some more. So we've been fortunate to do that. And again, our fan base is fantastic. We put a lot of kids through our camps where they get to come and meet the girls and want to come support them. And, it's all grassroots. A lot for us with our fan base, and we spend a lot of time trying to get to know the community and the fans, so they come out and support us. So yeah, it's a fantastic place to view women's soccer.
Our live stream's hopping tonight. A question from Laura: how are the new players looking, and has Big 12 been helping with recruiting here early on?
Yeah, our new players look fantastic. We signed 8 girls for this fall. Obviously had to try and fill in some big shoes with Kayla and Cam and Cass and Grace and so many of our great seniors, moving on. And the great thing about this class is that 7 of the 8 girls graduated from high school early because they were so excited to get on campus and start working out with the team that we had them in January. So they got to play in 10 spring games, which is a huge advantage, I think, going in. We see them back. Everybody's kind of back in town. They're working camps, and they don't feel like true freshmen because they've trained with our team for 4 months. They've already been a student, and they've played in some big games. So really encouraged by the new additions that we're adding to the team this fall, for sure. Looks really good.
We had so much fun getting an opportunity to watch Ashley Hatch play at Rio Tinto for the U.S. women's national team. Was it last week?
Yeah.
My times, I'm getting old, Jen, so I can't.
Yeah, me too.
I have no recognition of time. A day feels like a month, but we got to watch Ashley, which was really cool. How much does that influence when you have somebody playing at that level that you've produced? How does that help recruiting and the level of player that you can go after?
Well, I think it's huge. Ashley came to BYU and actually got her first cap while she was a senior. So our team had a chance to go to Rio Tinto and support her in her first national cap, probably 5 years ago or so. But I think it says a lot for what our program can do as far as developing players and getting them the exposure. And Ashley's been such a tremendous role model for, players who are interested in BYU and coming. And she's just done such a great job. We're so proud of her. She's so fun to watch. She's worked so hard, and it's just so exciting to see all the success she's had at the NWSL level. And then obviously with that success has come her run with the national team.
Well, now you have the Vaca twins who are on your current roster. They're off to play for Tonga's national team and try to get them qualified for the World Cup.
Yeah, really, really look forward to seeing how they do. They went with that team, I think their senior year in high school. They had a chance to go participate in that, and now they've obviously had tremendous success at BYU and have a chance to go back and look forward to seeing about their experiences. And, Kayla Coulihan was off in Sweden playing with the U23s and actually has a reserve spot on the U.S. national full roster if anyone gets injured here in the near future. So girls playing at that highest level is obviously great for us in recruiting and showing that we're bringing in great players and helping them develop to raise their game to the highest level.
Okay, now I'm going to really put you on the spot, and you may figure out a way to answer this politically correct, but who's the best player to ever come through the program?
That's a tough question. We've had some great ones, especially at the national level with Alicia Rose, all the experience that she had coming in. But I would say the year that Kayla had last season and help lead us to the national championship game, she was the top points person in the entire NCAA and a Herman Trophy semifinalist. I think with all the accolades and what she's done, you kind of have to give a nod to what she's been able to accomplish, although we've been extremely fortunate, obviously, to have a lot of great players come through our program.
The Painted Cougar has streamed on to say they just bought their season tickets. And also he has a question for when you look at the Big 12, which is another season away, what is the big atmosphere? Is there a program where you're looking forward to taking your team to?
Oh, yeah, we really look forward to the Big 12 conference. And we've been very fortunate in the WCC, which is an extremely high-level women's soccer conference, with Santa Clara winning the national championship the year before last and then returning to the Final Four. There's great history. So I feel like our presence and our opportunity to compete in the WCC has really helped prepare the way for us to enter the Big 12 and go in expecting to have immediate success and start playing for that championship in our first few years. We're familiar with a lot of the teams. We've been to a lot of those places, have played a lot of the schools in non-conference. Right now, TCU has kind of been the top of the Big 12 over the last couple years, and they were obviously our opponents in the Mountain West back in those days. This will, I think, be my fourth conference as a coach at BYU entering in. But there's just a great tradition in the Big 12 in women's soccer, and we just hope that we can add to that.
It's funny when we're around, everybody pulls us aside and says, hey, Big 12, Big 12, Big 12, lots of questions. And they always say, which program at the university is most prepared to compete right away? I don't even hesitate. I go, our women's soccer team can compete with anybody in any conference right now. Am I right?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we feel ready to go. I mean, it'll be new just because the new teams, the travel's going to be a bit tricky. Soccer is it's kind of a Thursday, Sunday sport. So that will really impact our conference schedule, where we'll be forced to play on Mondays. Obviously, happy that they're going to accommodate us, but that does make for some logistical issues that we'll have to learn from, more so than just the travel alone. But like I said, we've typically always played a very strong non-conference schedule, a very national schedule, and that's why we have seen so many of these teams over the years. So yeah, I feel like we're ready to go and compete. We don't want to sound overconfident, but we feel like we've prepared and that we're ready to take that next step into the bigger conference.
Jen Rockwood's with us on the Wise Guys, 7-time conference coach of the year, 13 conference championships, 22 trips to the NCAA tournament, played in the championship game last year in a battle that ended with penalty kicks. This home schedule you got: Colorado, Alabama, Arkansas, Utah, Gonzaga, and Santa Clara. And that's just a few. Is this the toughest home slate that you've put together in your 25 seasons?
Well, it's hard to say if it's the toughest, but we know that it's going to be extremely challenging for us, and that's the way we like it. We like to challenge ourselves. We actually get to open at UNC. So we've got in Ohio State, we've got some tough games on the road as well. But again, we feel like we've got to go out and play the best and learn how to deal with the best teams out there in order for us to continue to get ready for conference play and then make runs in the NCAA. So it's kind of been something we've been doing for several years now, is playing a tough schedule. We obviously play very well at home. And so we love the fact that we get those quality opponents here on South Field on our campus, and look forward to the big challenge of it.
Were you looking at the map when you scheduled North Carolina on the East Coast, then you go all the way to Fullerton on the West Coast, then you go all the way back to Columbus, Ohio for the Buckeyes before you even come home to play a home match? You get a few miles in right away.
Yeah, absolutely. We like to challenge ourselves, and travel is part of the competition and learning how to, prepare for big trips, long trips, short trips, anything that we can handle. We like to test the girls nice and early. And anytime you have a chance to go out to Chapel Hill and play, one of the very most successful women's college program ever in the history, we want to do that. So, we'd like to play that challenging schedule. We're not afraid to go anywhere or play anybody at any time. So yeah, we'll be on the road a lot and excited to come home with the opening match against Colorado.
I love that. I have to, and I know you can't see. We see all the people that are online with us, asking questions. I have to tell you this one. I don't know who the Painted Cougar is, but she says, I'm going to make a second version of Coach Rockwood bobblehead to go with my first one. So there's that. There's that. And then awesome. The A801 or Thea 801 asks us, who should we look for up front in attack to replace Kayla and Cam? So obviously talking about Michaela Coulihan and Cameron Tucker.
Yeah. Those are some huge shoes to fill. We're not going to be able to fill them with a couple girls. It's definitely going to have to come from a group of players. Jamie Shepard has been playing. She kind of held down the middle with Kayla as our two central midfielders. And so we will push Jamie up and have Liv Wade come in. And we expect that those two will do a really great job of kind of solidifying the middle for us. But we have a lot of great attacking players. We return someone like a Rachel McCarthy and a Bella Felino who, played significant minutes, score goals for us, even though they weren't always in the starting lineup. I consider them returning starters. We've got some great young players that we know can be very dangerous. So I think it'll definitely need to be a collective effort from all of our team. We expect all of our midfielders and forwards to be able to attack and get shots off and score goals. And we attack a lot from the outside back slots. And we have actually some people don't realize we have 7 returning starters from our group from last year. Wow. So although we graduated some pretty key players, we returned back the majority of our experience and a lot of our leadership. And then you add to that our new group of freshmen coming in who I think will be giving us solid minutes right from the get-go.
A few more questions tonight for Coach Rockwood. When we think of programs on campus that have to deal with missions, football and men's basketball come to mind, but your soccer team's made some significant adjustments in recent years. You had 5 players from last year's roster leave on missions. Have you ever had that many go at one time, and what kind of scramble did that make to rebuild the roster?
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey since the age has changed at 19. At first, we didn't think that maybe it would impact us as much as it has, but, we recruit extremely high quality individuals and they can serve on and off the field. And we've had a lot of great return missionaries come and go and have had a lot of success with our return missionaries. We actually have 9 girls out right now, which is definitely a challenge. Because we didn't expect, most of the time with the girls, they don't know until a couple weeks before they come and tell you that they were going on a mission. So it has been a challenge, but, things have worked out for us in the past, and we assume and just go on as if things are going to work out for us in the future. With most of our freshman class leading on missions, that certainly wasn't expected. But then we've never had freshmen come in a semester early either. And so that's nothing that we pushed for. They just decided to come. And so it's worked out really well for us that way. We'll be a smaller roster this year. We're not, we recruit 2 to 3 years out in advance. So it's not like a girl walks in your office and says they're going on a mission for the fall. There's really no way to replace them. So we'll have a smaller roster in this fall, but again, we return a ton of experience. So we hopefully want to just kind of reload and get back on the field. And then, 2023, we'll have a big roster but with some missionaries that aren't quite ready to go. So we'll just deal with it as it comes, and that's really all we can do.
So do you write them all each month? It's 9 letters, or do you just send them an emoji and say, hang in there?
Yeah, I'm not so good at that. I tell them when they go, make sure that I'm on your list. You probably won't hear from me too much, but we'll always be thinking about you and just want them to focus on their mission. And usually by the time they come back, it doesn't seem like they've been gone that long, but we're ready to add them right back into the daily routine. So
it's fun. I don't know why this thought came to my mind, but when you were talking about man, all these missionaries went out, some not expected, but then unexpectedly, these freshmen decide that they're going to come in on the semester and have this extra time. Why does Austin Collie pop into my head and his famous quote, when you're doing things right on and off the field, good things happen.
Magic happens.
Magic happens on 4th and 19 against Utah. It happens. And it just seems like things are falling into place to set up the Cougs for another great season. What are you most looking forward to? What's the strength of this team going to be, do you think, Jen, in this season?
Yeah, I think a couple of years ago, we graduated a back line, and so much of what we do with our possession and our attack starts from the defensive side of things. And so with that, we need a back line that can control the game, distribute well. We play out of the back, usually from the keeper's hands. We put the ball right down to our back line. And so having the experience of our back line coming back, I think is huge for us as we kind of build some new attacking players and as they pick up new roles and expectations. So really excited about that. And just, having some great central players like Jamie, who's had so much experience, and Liv Wade, who started as a, return missionary. Liv came back this fall and had to play a little bit out of position just based on what we had. And now we slide her back into the position that she started with us as a freshman before her mission. And again, I think we have tremendous leaders who have great experience. We've got an older group now, just even though they have 2 years of eligibility, but with that extra year of COVID, we've got half of our roster with an extra year. And I think, that brings experience and confidence and leadership and leading the way for these new young players. So I think just lots of exciting things. I'm really anxious to get back on the field here in about a month.
When you consider women's soccer, volleyball, softball, cross country, track and field, and gymnastics, has there ever been a better time than right now for women as student athletes at BYU?
There isn't, and I've seen it. I've seen it come a long way from the days that I just coached club and just thinking, wow, how would it be if these girls even got a scholarship? And now everything that they have available to them, and certainly the women's side of BYU has just extremely excelled these past few years. I think we're, one of the top women's programs in the country collectively, with success that all of our programs have had. So yeah, it's a great time to be a student athlete at BYU. And again, looking and preparing into another big step as we move into the Big 12. There's just lots of great things going on right now.
When you accepted that basketball scholarship at Rick's College,
yes,
did you have any idea that your life would be so soccer driven?
Absolutely not. No, didn't see it coming from a mile away. Not even after I graduated from BYU. I was a business finance major and just going on to teach and coach some soccer. I figured I'd be around soccer as a coach at some level, maybe high school, but certainly nothing professionally. I've just been fortunate to be at the right place at right times and had people that have believed in me. And I've just done the best I could. I've got lots of help surrounding me and great athletes that have always been a part of our program, and a year at a time, and almost 30 years later, we're still here plugging away.
That's how you do it, a year at a time, right?
Year at a time, that's all.
It's amazing what you've accomplished, what this team has accomplished, the national exposure. We can't just leave last year yet, because I want to know, Jen, that it was just such a tremendous year, playing in the national championship game right there. Is there a memory, a singular moment that stands out in your mind from last year that maybe we don't know about, that you could tell us about?
I think it's just a combination. I think when you're in it, you've worked your whole career and you've talked about it every day, and especially this season about making the run in the NCAA tournament, it kind of just becomes another game. And so it's almost hard to appreciate it when you're in that moment. And, because you prepare like every game. You don't want to change your routine. You don't want to put any additional pressure on. And, when we went to Santa Clara, it was kind of unique because that was a home field for our opponent in the semifinals, which, everything was kind of a little familiar in a way, which you didn't think it should be. But I think where it really hit me is after the fact, and we got home and we saw a highlight film that just kind of wrapped up our NCAA run. And that's when it just becomes extremely emotional looking back on, no roads are easy. We had lots of ups and downs during the season with some losses that we didn't expect, and and some injuries that we had to play through. And there's, Cass, not knowing if she was gonna, be able to lift her arm up from day to day, and just kind of looking back at the highlight of of our NCAA run. It just brought a lot of emotion and excitement and pride for everything that this group has accomplished. And for the alumni, when the alumni were there at the Final Four, I think that was something really special, at least for me, to see some of the girls there that had, Santa Clara knocked us out of the NCAA tournament like 4 years in a row back in the early days. And to see some of those alumni back there supporting, their Cougar, future kids there out on the field, that was something super special for me as a coach, to see how excited the alumni were for this particular group.
Well, tomorrow's July 6th, and the blue-white game is on August 6th. So we are just about here. We're excited to get you back out on the field. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you talking about our team and our players, and we hope to represent really well in the fall.
We'll keep doing it. We love it. Thanks, Jen.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Jen Rockwood, she's getting ready for her 26th season. She's got 407 victories. 7-time Conference Coach of the Year, as we mentioned. And I still think it's incredible that she's the only soccer head coach in BYU history.
Yeah, and what an unbelievable. So they've had phenomenal seasons, but last year has to be the best. And it was fun to hear her talk about the memories. And it is cool. You go to a national championship game to have all the alumni around that have been through, because those players last year, they're standing on the shoulders of those players that helped build that program. To have them there and be so excited to be part of it, really cool, really cool.
So she's been the head coach for 25 years, and they've made 22 NCAA tournament appearances. That's like a dynasty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so close. That shootout was so painful.
Oh,
it was like,
you bring that up, and I just die.
And Florida State was number 1 in the country, the number 1 seed when that game went down. And so it starts again. Season openers August 13th at North Carolina. And then the home opener later in the month against Colorado, and of course, all the home games are on BYU TV.
Am I wrong in that? Because people have said they've asked you a lot that same question, Dave, and that is, what program is the most ready to play in the Big 12? I mean, it's got to be women's soccer, right?
And cross country.
Yeah, that's true.
But as far as a team type thing, go out and scoring goals or touchdowns or baskets or whatever, it's soccer.